So I like that. For it on silver.
I won't be there. I won't be there. Somebody please put me in for that gift card drawing.
My magic hand. Looks don't give time to write since you guys couldn't do it. Try to meet and drop it off. When they want to work for there. Yeah, people draw it that way. But your sense of ordering stuff. And then she find out about last two months inside it. That's sort of something. I think for me to go into that spot. It's yeah, some food is I'm being and sausage menu and all that. So I just add the right things to the right chili on it. And or salad. Yeah, and the okay, it's the farms. What about yours? Okay, that's a lot in that. Brandon's house. I found this one brand all that. Do you know what's it? And we'll have now else in the sense and we'll go. This is and she had like on the radio. Okay. Think fast. You know, it's got really little trying to control. You know, find it out. Yeah, but I keep my letters and still percent the red. Just sometimes you can talk about something. You know, I know one positive and it was thinking my concert, but it's sugar still not no ceremony. We got on my head. I was just trying to learn. It's fine for but that's trained that's a it's right. And I think, yeah, so he's a plumber there on my yeah, so the jacket. So yeah, and I'll give you other things and then let's just take the other. I remember right to but they were good to them. And I think they can do whatever they own that. Parents just making. So yeah, continue innovation and that's what hopefully could on fire. Chilling and then guys. The doctors can really tell as well get the picture. I mean, that wasn't good. All right, it is 12:02. If you are on Zoom, please go ahead and sign in on the chat. What I will let you know is that I don't get to see the chat, so you will need to come off of mute if you have something you need to say. Otherwise, we may not see you. Also, with that being said, we are doing board elections. If you are on Zoom, the URL code, the website is right there. Or you can scan the QR code and it'll take you to the voting. Everybody who is a member of the Health Council, which means if you get my email, you're a member of the Health Council. If you attended a meeting, congratulations, you're at a meeting, you can vote. The races are all uncontested, so just vote. Sweet. Yeah, well, I don't want to slip this in or not. No worry. Patrick morning. All right. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is 12:03. Everybody in the room, did you sign in and get an agenda at the front of the desk, at the tables? All right. So we started July 1st with 95 members. Somewhere my math over the last however many months since July 1st has wobbled a little bit. The actual true count is 136. Is where we're at. So I'd like to welcome Jessica, Marisol, Ruben, Kristen, and James. Welcome to the Health Council. Also in your packet is the minutes from last month. Did anybody have any corrections that they saw? One of them was, and I may have fixed it, but I'm not sure. We had a visitor and I couldn't read the name, so I put OBED because that's what it looked like. Anybody know who that is? They were here in person. All right, so it'll stay that way until we figure out who the mystery man is. Welcome, moment. It was that was great. OBED. I don't remember the last thing, but what? Yeah, I couldn't read because he didn't write his name. It's just a signature, and so I couldn't tell. All right. So, any adjustments other than that one? Nope. All right, we will move on. Again, everybody had a few minutes to vote. Ready to pull up the election results? Probably should have done that where I can see. Hang on. Y'all have no idea how much I can't see in this room. It's fine. All right. Are you seeing this on screen? Yeah. No. Okay. All right. So now everybody should be able to see the results. So we have a nomination for chair was Jennifer Smith. And 100% of the people who voted for Jennifer Smith in an uncontested race. Woo! So for vice chair, our nomination was Dan Jennings. And 100% of the people who voted for Dan Jennings. That was a close race. We weren't sure how that one was going to play out. For secretary, the nomination was Tiffany Bailey, and 100% of the people who voted for Tiffany Bailey for the secretary position. The treasurer's position, we had one nomination from Rick Lamb. 100% of the people who voted for Rick Lamb for treasurer. And then for our board members,
We have 3 nominations, Geneva Martinez, Bruce Burleson, and Elizabeth Macias. We accept multiple board members, so congratulations, Jennifer Martinez, Bruce Burleson, Elizabeth Macias. Anybody have any questions? Oh, I guess, wait, I need a motion to accept the, yeah, thank you. The voting results.
Danielle
Yeah, wait.
Andrade, I'll make a motion to accept the nomination results.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Warren seconds. Is there any discussion? Being no discussion, all in favor, signify saying aye.
Aye.
Any motion passes. Thank you. Congratulations. Welcome to the board. All right. With that, all right, we have 2 sponsorship funding requests. Again, this is where members or the community can come to the health council and ask for us to sponsor an event or something, and one should really know how to. Oh, that's about right. So we have Megan with Casa Kids here, there.
Yeah, you want me to stand up?
Yeah, so we're.
Hi guys, thanks for having me here today. I guess I'll give you a little bit of a synopsis about what we do. So I work with Casa Kids and I run the Stellar Satellite Program. We're a partnership with Stellar Mondico, and we employ Casa Kids youth. So we have a mobile coffee unit and we also have a brick and mortar that we partner with. And we give them opportunities to get all of those skills that come with the job. A lot of our kiddos don't really have opportunities like this, or maybe they're not quite ready. They wouldn't even make it into their initial interview. Maybe they have like hygiene situations, but most of them have significant barriers that would keep them from even being employable. So we kind of offer that space for them to be safe and to be able to grow and develop. A big point for us is empowerment, really just giving them opportunities to see that there's strengths in them, opportunities for them to grow. And we also offer opportunities for them to grow into leadership. So we'll also have a leadership position as well through CrossFit Kids. We've been in action for 5 years, and we've seen a lot of our kids come through the program successfully. But one thing, Ann Baker, so she's our owner of Stellar Coffee Co. and she's a big partner of ours. She pays for all of our kiddos' payroll. And she requested that we sponsor a night for them to be honored. Just kind of recognize that all of those kids have come through, have made an effort. But a lot of it is kind of that opportunity to dress up, to actually have a formal event. So we're planning a banquet. We'll be hosting it at the Valley Bank on April 12th. And we are requesting that we can get some funding for a caterer. So we've asked Matt Reed to be our caterer, but also to be our guest speaker. So he's planning like a multi-course meal to offer them learn about culinary. So give them some inspiration, because we've seen a couple of our kids come through and continue into the service industry and also continue in culinary arts. And so we really want to inspire them, but also to acknowledge them and honor them. And who doesn't want any questions?
Does anybody have any questions for Megan?
So it's a sponsorship request.
Yeah, so it's a sponsorship request for $1,000 for catering and speaking services for the kids through the Casa Satellite Stellar Coffee trailer.
Amen. Oh,
Yes.
it is. That's fine.
No discussion? All right, do we have a motion to accept or deny? We need a motion on what to do with the request.
Do we have that money? We have that money.
We normally set aside,
We have a line item in our budget specifically for sponsorships like this. Also, we do have the money. We haven't used the whole amount that it's like for this year. Great program. Let's let you know that.
yeah.
was. When let's see why I need to get this fiscal year, it's I'm just gonna.
So this is our first funding request for this fiscal year.
And if we had, yeah, 5%, no, it's in charge.
I think it's 5. Okay, so it's anything. So somebody said something?
Yes.
All right, so Bruce motion to accept the request for $1,000 for catering costs. Is there a second?
I'll second party.
Marty is seconding. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. So what will happen from here is this will now go to the board for the board's final approval on it. And then if that happens, then I'll send you an email. And then after you do the bids, you'll come back and do a presentation on how it went and all the deets on that part. The board meets on the 26th. So yeah, a board meeting the 26th. That's all. That still work within your time frame?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, our next funding request is from Geneva with many hands and Geneva.
Hi, with me guys is partnership with Bitter Lake Farm Company. They're the ones that helped us do the brick making on their farm, along with the rotary. It was an idea that was brought to me from the owner of Bitter Lake Farm. They do tournament trees once a month. This is the first time that they wanted to do a Memphis fundraiser. We have 3 young adults that are ready for scripts. It's going to be a pretty awesome night. The money will go to continuing services to Latinas. We've worked a lot with helping those that are lost or do not have final records to obtain their records. Just recently we were in 2013 at our last event, and then at stand down we were able to help with 9. Along with all the other things that Wikicans does with rehab prevention programs, with 100% strategy and moving forward. It's really great time, that acting, and it's gonna be just so awesome. And on roller skate at the end of the night, the tickets that people purchase tickets at doors or previous please will be able to stay and skate and hear more about the civic duties that we do and the civic services that we do. We also will be conducting a get out and vote, which is a nonpartisan, just trying to register your vote. We'll make an exercise the right to vote. Let it involve. Thank you.
All right, so Geneva's request, so she failed to mention 500 plus 500,
And there will be 4 free tickets and well, I didn't but thank you.
sponsorship levels, or trying to get there. Are in your packet. I think it's probably the last page.
From like promo, shirts, some radio shout out for digital advertisement on their digital board, which they will start as soon as we get the logo. And come on out. You want to yeah. It'll be a lot of fun. So the cast will get to stay with everybody that's from the local branch, the local cast. I will find out tonight. I kind of want to be behind the scenes. Yeah, the audition starts tonight at 6:00 at the Rotary. Once involved, wanting to the volunteer there. Pretty young adult. Well, we have a 16-year-old, a 41-year-old, and a 23-year-old that are ready to play. And the direction will come from lots of they're like supervisor. Cheryl, she'll work with me. She'll like, oh yeah. Yeah, we're hoping that we expand other fundraisers to throughout. There are some items like making a purchase, like rushing homes and your sponsorship will all assist also for our students and students.
Any other questions? Anybody online? Okay, I need a motion.
Can I move? I know, I'm really not.
You're extremely moving as it is. Yeah, somebody would be.
Well, I'll take it. I'll tell you in carrying case that what's not going wrong. Yeah, I would to approve plus.
Alright, so Kim moves to approve the $500 sponsorship request for With Many Hands. Do I have a second?
I will. I'll let.
Paula makes a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
And then you guys have to fight over the tickets and stuff, you know.
Tickets, I don't know what you're talking about. Motion passes. Sorry, I forgot to write all. All right, with that, now we go to the Health Council activities. First one up is behavioral health and wellness. Elizabeth, are you on?
Not, but
So Dan chaired the last meeting, so we'll let Dan do the discussion.
thank
You
you.
can share
The chair.
the screen.
No, no. I know.
Okay.
So at our last meeting, just to get everything done, that's probably you've been seeing very revealing a lot of this stuff out. In May, beginning of May, we'll be traveling to Carlsbad because part of the what they call LC5, which is the 5th Judicial District. There is a significant amount of money, about 20 million.
Well, for LC5, there's just a little over 10 million.
So no, $10 million that allocated, the state put in the allocation last year for behavioral health, substance abuse, and especially justice involved individuals diversion programs. So the idea of intercepting them along the continuum where they might be before court, through court, in the system, out of the system as such. But it's incumbent of each county to come up with what's called a SIM map, which is sequential intercept map, which means what services exist along that continuum for adults and for youth. And that also then will uncover what gaps exist. So the idea is then Chaves County, Eden County, Lee County, there are the three as part of this committee, will come together in May and then share what resources they found for adult in each county. And the idea is that the consortium together, these two counties will come up with the use for that $10 million to spend to build programs, expand programs, etc. So it's been important for our committee to find what those programs are, what doesn't exist in Chaves, so that we don't, so our voices there in Carlsbad, so that we could say this we don't have or what we need. So if you have any information that you'd like to include in that, please send it along to Gary and email. We'll be able to make sure your voice is heard in that too. We've had listening sessions that Carrie hosted a couple months ago. And so this is kind of culmination of the rest of that to bring it all together for me. So
And to add to that, what I found out is that $10 million, the counties are not the ones who actually pick the projects. So they submitted to a committee up at Santa Fe, and they're the ones who decide what happened. It's kind of a good and a bad thing on it, because with Eddy County being the lead, they don't get to pick the Eddy County programs that we all have to follow through on. But then we have somebody who doesn't know our area. But again, they're supposed to be picking off of what we send them, so hopefully that would kind of balance out.
It just felt like, Lifehouse really had the lead in the conversations because they've already gotten approvals to come into Roswell and do some things. And so that's not to say that we can't get some of the funds, but.
Well, and it doesn't have to be we only settle for Lighthouse. I mean,
Right,
we can have multiple agencies, we're bigger than the other two entities together, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are gaps, right? You started working on the table and we were just kind of putting in also entities that maybe existed that weren't sure if they could hear the conversation. And so I went back and asked them, hey, I want to add but and RNSD is like what are doing it.
yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's what I thought. Meeting was like there are a lot of programs that might exist physically in this town
Yeah.
that don't exist virtually or literally in the other communities outside of Tulsa.
Yeah.
So that's the other.
Yeah, and like I said, map to map out, we include like our regular injections, because they're part of the community, plus homeschool, plus NITI, IPA, and, that church out there, yeah, so, yeah. Gateway and homeschool and everybody else. And then like the pre-intercept stuff is like Boys and Girls Club. So if anything that can keep a kid entertained, to keep them out of trouble, to teach them skills, to, you know, Wings for Life, which is more hands-on specific approach. So those are the things that we're looking at. And there's a lot of programs, because I sat in a meeting yesterday and CASA was talking about some things that they were doing. I'm like, wait, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
What's that? And so I'm writing down notes, because believe it or not, I don't know every programmer. So this is where we need everybody's input. We know not everybody's gonna go to Carlsbad and Maine. So we have to get this input here, so that way we can make sure we have it there. Any other questions for behavioral health anymore, Dan?
Is there a meeting that you're going to receive input, or you're just looking for input through email so that you're prepared?
Yes, I am. So the March 25th meeting that we have with our behavioral health subcommittee will meet again March 25th. We will take all the responses that we elicited over this last month and combine them together in that meeting. So anything at that meeting we're going to move to another, so it won't be that. Let's necessarily be moving toward gaps and opportunities at that time for the next month. So at this moment, it'll be beforehand, send anything through. We'll compile it. That way we won't spend time during the meeting hashing those kind of things out. We'll watch the next order of business. And then we'll have one more meeting in April, probably around the same timeline, our meeting. And then that way we'll have it for the May 3-day meeting for all of that, where we'll bring it all to that group. So, but any input ahead of time and during this direction.
Yeah, and I've got to go, so I have a meeting with them on the 18th. So I don't know if somebody from the behavioral health wants to come.
I'll put over my way. I don't know
Okay.
schedule this week. When we go.
So I'll send that packet out to the whole membership again, and with it, I include a sample from, I think it's San Juan, where it's just their intercepts, so that way you can see what they put in there, because sometimes it helps dog go, oh, wait, we've got something like that, or this fits this category or that, and then it's the youth and the adults in their individual tracks. All right, together with veterans, Danny. So Danielle,
Hello.
together with veterans,
Yes. Sorry, I'm at home. My daughter is sick. So, yeah. So, this year we were selected by Roswell Honda Classic for their charity golf tournament, and which is going to be Saturday and Sunday of April 18th and 19th at the Nancy Lopez Golf Course at Spring River. So we are reaching out and emailing out and taking these sponsorship packets and flyers to businesses that are around town. We are looking for sponsors. There is a 3-person scramble and double shotgun start on the 18th. And there's different levels that can be sponsors. So such as like there's the civic level, which is $750. You can have you don't have to have a team, but you'll get a small logo on the banner, and then you'll get a sign on the range. Then there's the next level, $1,500, and you'll get a team of 3, a medium logo on the banner, but you'll also get logos on the range. And then the 2,500 pilot, which you can have 2 teams, large logo on the banner, and then you get your logo on the range. And there's quite a bit more And with this, we also are selling 50/50 tickets, which Jennifer should have some. If not, I have some also. And the entry does include free beer, breakfast, and lunch while supplies last. And there is also a Tiger Hole that each team can purchase. And then there's also mulligans, limit 2 per team. So it's a really good event. Like I said, we are looking for sponsorships. If you've got an email, if you can forward it to anybody, if you can go ahead, or if you know anybody that likes to golf, or if you know anybody that will be interested in sponsoring, just let us know. I will drop my email contact information in the chat. So if anybody would like to go ahead and email me, I can forward you a packet. And that's about it, I believe.
And if you're a person, I have packets over at the table when I grab that for the softball draw.
So there's also have a QPR training coming up on the 21st. I brought flyers for that as well. We have to go and sign up to 21st, and it'll be at the American Legion from 12 to 3. And I'll be teaching that.
And when you go to sign up, if the dates look wonky on the sign up on the form, ignore it, just go ahead and fill it out. I probably haven't updated it, so I'll do that. I do the option.
It helps us to know how much if you sign up ahead of time. Just for our age. Okay. Just a little age, really bad. Things my school will do 10 bucks.
Any questions for Together with Veterans? All right. Health Expo.
So the Health Expo is gonna be on August 1st this year. We had our first meeting last week. Or last week, we had our first meeting, we had until June 22nd. I brought packets here in person. Carrie has emailed them out to everybody. We're doing sponsors right now. A lot of the sponsorships and moves are gonna be first come, first serve, because we have limited space. We'll be in the mall again. And we have bigger plans this year. We are providing tables, chairs. Bring your own tables and chairs this year. And we'll have all the tables and chairs set up and labeled for you the day of, so it's not all. Okay.
I will accept the hallelujah right here.
They had it over here. So the booths cost our regular price this year. Last year we did a discounted price for booths. You guys should have to bring your own tables and chairs. But since we're providing the tables and chairs, we're having for that. Gotta go back to the $50 for a booth for your early bird, or $75 after that. And if you go try and get in after our deadline, we charge you $100 ticket. So it's gonna cost you $100 more if you do it after our deadlines, because Carrie has to do a lot of magic with fitting everybody in. And it throws everything off. We have work. They need to. Yeah. So in the packet, we've got all the deadlines. Since they are in June and July.
And for those who have asked how on the resource guide that we print out, because we will continue to print a resource guide, which will be available in August, how you get highlighted or your logo in the resource guide, you have to be a sponsor. So if you're a sponsor, you automatically get a highlighted line in there. This past one was red. It'll probably still be red, stands out. And then whatever the tier is, gives you a different sponsorship size artwork inside the guide on it. So that's how you get in there. We don't list every single service. So like some people are upset that their doctor's office isn't listed in there when it's an individual provider. The problem with that is providers in this town don't stay. And so listing individuals are hard on it. So I'll do groups. Like a form factor or something like that is a group of people. So it doesn't matter if the provider come and go because the entity will stay. And that's kind of how that goes.
Get scholarships in if you want to, get troops, sports in, carry, taking care of like payment for that, change a little bit on our case, please pay attention to Carrie's email if you send in a sponsor. And pay you for everything.
Yeah, and I will add that. So we use Square so I can keep track of the money that's supposed to be coming in because it's my accounting piece for it, so I can give it to the accountant. But Square charges us credit card fees. And if they charge me a credit card fee, I have to charge you a credit card fee. Well, I found a program or an entity that works with nonprofits that does not charge the credit card fee. So I still submit you an invoice through Square so you have it for your records, because that's your tax documents. But then I give you the link to Zephy, which is where we're doing the actual transactions at. And then this way you don't have to pay it. But if you pay via Square, I have to go back and submit you another invoice for the credit card fees. Because with the sponsorships and you're doing those big sponsorships, credit card fees get extremely high. Does that make sense? Or checks are free and I gladly take those too.
Checks will get too. Look at that.
And you still get a Square in. All right. Any questions on the expo?
It's gonna have spots for like food trucks and like that.
Fill out a form.
Is it the same form?
This one. I don't know if we can do food truck. It's the ball.
And that's what I was curious about.
We can ask.
Wow.
We'll ask.
I don't have anything on my schedule for it, so I'd like to make this out, but
I have buses and things coming in, but that's not a competition against the existing mall entities, so.
and
You want to be manager.
It's Andy confirmed three.
with their people.
Maybe she'll.
Oh, no.
We just asked, it just depends.
Good day.
Yeah.
It's not like we're.
Okay,
Part of a lot of traffic, can they ever get back to you on 120 with Street 5?
no, I think it was too hard for them to track. But they wanted us back. They said that everybody said it was a great turnout.
Yeah. That's it.
All right, with that, we are going to go into presentations. So our first presentation is a new app that we're bringing out into Chaves County. It's called Help Here. So Help Your Hub. And this is Dan Jennings' presentation.
Thank you. So, with 100%, we are always tasked with doing resource directories, finding what is needed in the community and helping people get connected. That's the full umbrella, 100%, whatever county is operating it. And so we try to keep finding tools that can help the community in order to make those things happen. The problem is those tools are either too expensive or they say they're going to work with us, they don't, or whatever, it just never pans out. So I've been working a lot with the Health Council. I was working a lot with PASA. I've worked a lot with other organizations that have had the same kind of pain points. And so I thought we have been working for the past 2 years on creating an application in order to make this take place. Yeah, so like I said, I thought it was going to be third parties that would do it. I didn't have to do it. Then I got tired. And so we're going to have to do it. So this is kind of a culmination of that. It's in very beta testing right now, but what I want to do is kind of do a soft rollout. I've been working with Area Health Council to see if this is something that we could do here in Chaves County. As it is, then maybe this becomes somewhere else. So I'll just kind of do a quick demonstration. I apologize if you think, yeah, it's going really fast, but I only have a small amount of time. So if you're like, I would really like to know more about it, just holler at me and I can do like more one-on-one slower demos. But this is just kind of a quick overview. So let's kind of show what it looks like. I'm just gonna jump right into the demo of it. And once you become a member of the app, it opens different levels of access. So most members are just basic members, meaning they can just simply view information. Then as you go through one of the gates, meaning that you've like got a little bit further in the app, you commit a little bit more, then you can open up where you can respond to requests or you can communicate. Then you can become organizational rep, meaning you can take control of your organization and make requests and then to actually accept and make referrals. There's navigator components in here too, and you can move all the way through to the administrator level. But basically, to kind of show what it looks like, is that first of all, again, this is the dashboard. You can quickly jump into components that make sense for the 211. Health Council is a navigator component. So in the navigator component, navigators of the organization, and the organization can't have navigators. So I'm just going to pick on the Health Council here. What this allows is you can add a new interaction. So a call comes into 211. We can pull up their information by phone number or their name as they give it to us. I'm like, Sarah, thank you very much for calling in. So I can bring up Sarah. There's Sarah's background information. This was gathered from previous phone calls that Sarah has called in before. I can look at the history of the different calls that Sarah called in with intake call, needs food assistance, here's who they referred to. So I can see what's happened before in the past. I can go ahead and fill out this interaction, and I can even make referrals to different organizations that have too. So I can find, oh, here's an organization that can help with food banks. I can click on that, and then as soon as I submit this, the organization rep for the food bank will get a referral and say, here's the information. Can you accept or do you need to decline? And that way we can find out, oh, that was accepted, or no, they can't receive the help. And now the navigator knows that could not take place. And we can even log this and email the information to the client. So that way, whenever this call is over, all that information goes to the client, said, here's what you need to call, or here's the follow up, here's what you need to do. You can pull up clients, you can find the information about the client from here. You can schedule follow-ups, and there's also the reports. It's kind of what Gary loves the best, because this automatically generates the end of the month report about who called, not necessarily who called in, but how many people called in for whatever reasons, and then even showing what kind of interactions by category, the responses for the organizations that they are responding, break down throughout chapter. This breaks down by month and week, and also by quarter and by year. And so once a user is actually in, what we try to do is encourage them to join the app. So Sarah actually has joined the app. And so we can see that they've joined the app, and we can go into their journey, because part of 100%, we like to find out if individuals are thriving in all 10 areas. And so I'll kind of show you what that looks like. So Sarah has gone in, she's taken an assessment. She's actually taken a free assessment, and we can see that she is at 80% stable, which means that 8 of the 10 categories she is scoring stable, meaning that for behavioral health, for medical, for food, transportation, care and support, etc. She started out usually at a very low score. She made an 80% improvement, which means that since she first taken the assessment, so here's kind of her assessment scores. It's so small, I apologize on the screen. But you can see her first assessment was in the 2s and 3s range, all the way up to the 4s, which now. I want to show you what an assessment kind of looks like to bring the goals up. So you can see what that assessment. So there's medical dental care. The individuals can set goals. They can bring this up and see that I'm currently at a 4, and here's where it needs to be to a 5 on that, which would be all the way to private target level. And they can go through and add action steps, and through the action steps, they can even add organizations. So for example, in this case, we have some food organizations that they can choose from. So they can say, like, I'm going to apply to these, and I can actually send my request to one of them. And so that's making a referral request to that organization. They'll get the information to say, this is what I'm working on, and you help me with this. The assessments in here are, like I said, through what we call Find Journey. And so in this case, my journey, you can see everybody, I'm the administrator of this, so I can see all of my journeys on here. But we can drill down and take a look at it. My journey to thriving, this is actually my journey that I filled out. You can kind of see as we scroll down through here, here's where all of the assessments that I've taken so far, how I've been doing to a larger grade is where I am now. I'm trying to get basically the whole grade to fill out to be the most data that I can. Whenever referrals come in for an organization, they pop up here in the message notifications, so the board referrals. And so that allows me to say, James Williams was made a referral to our organization and it's pending. And I can click on it to respond to it, to accept it, or to decline it. And if you're an organization in the app, you can actually make requests. So there can be an individual in the organization that can say, I can make requests into the app. The requests would be things like, in this case, emergency furniture for family, or non-perishable food items, or volunteer requests. So for example, on this volunteer request, this allows the organization to say, we're going to do this event, and we need so many volunteers for this. I need 4 volunteers for this time slot, 4 volunteers for this time slot. And then people can sign up for those, and the organizer can print a sign-in sheet for that, and that way all the people, their contact information already there, then they can just sign in. The reason why I wanted to do something like this is because we know that there's programs that require volunteer service time. And so what we've been able to do is that as this app is used, individuals can come through in their profile and get a volunteer verification letter that is generated that says, I work 72 hours, here's what I worked on over 3 activities. These are verified times that have been entered for me. Same thing is if I have a request that was for items or funding, and if I make a donation, this can generate the tax donation summary to show how much money was given to those organizations and what was provided during that time too, for tax purposes. And the one big thing, 100% that we work on all the time is action teams. So I wanted to build action team areas where we could say this, for example, this is a food security action team. We build into this the assessments. So we know for food security, for example, where the individuals that have taken the My Journey assessment, sure, the people that are in the app are scoring at 71% stable. People who are not in the app that have taken the survey outside then are at a 44% stability. And so we can run community surveys and we can run this over time. We can track how things are going. In this case, we've gone from 50% to 41%. This is all demo data, not Chaves County, just so we can show about the book. We can keep track of all of the information that comes in through the navigator, how many people are calling in for services. We can keep track of the data that is entered in here over time and how we're doing. And the SWOT analysis is there so we can put in our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The projects allows the action team to build a project based upon the issues that exist, the inputs, who will be providing services, and what activities are being done about it. And then out, so we can actually track if there were volunteer events, how many people volunteered, how many hours were done, what funding was raised, and then eventually what outcomes came out from it. So the idea is to build a logic diagram all the way through a project, not just to say, we want to do this, and I hope that we get results. And you can actually track it in terms. And I think this is one of the ones that really got us going with Sarah, was giving circles. Because we also wanted a way, a lot of people are like, I want to give, I want to be philanthropic, I want to give some money, but I don't know what to give it to. Maybe a request would be good, but I want to give money on an ongoing basis. So Giving Circles allows for organizations to host this pool of funds, and members can join and they can make contributions into this fund. And this allows the members of that fund then to receive requests for funding. So for example, here's the grant request. That organization said, hey, I want to put together an emergency food program, or I want to have art supplies for a creative workshop. So these grants come into the funding circles, and the members of the circles, those that have contributed funds to it, get to make a voting decision on this. They get to say, yes, let's fund that. And as soon as enough votes come in before the deadline, then if it passes with a certain threshold that the Giving Circle sets, then it can go to an award and get distributed so that that treasurer or the fund, the giving circle can make that fund out. So kind of like when you come here to help council, you have the ability to do the same thing with the sponsorship. So this allows kind of an interactive way to do those kind of fundraising.
Can we still like verify it through the in-person?
Oh, yeah.
Say like,
So-
oh, about this, what do you guys think?
So the nice thing about it is the grant just doesn't kind of get voted on, it comes in and then a member has to make a recommendation. To the giving circle, say, let's take this, so therefore, that's how you can kind of have the flow, you can say like, right, these have come in, let's hear from them. Let's make the recommendation, we get the recommendation now, let's come for voting, so you're exactly right. Yeah, we wanted to have a flow very similar to, again, work together to try to make this as hopefully as easy as possible. The idea is then all that data can be tracked to see how, and was it tied to a specific action team project? So for example, the nice thing about it is like we love supporting things, but did it move the needle? And so you can tie it to a project and say, yes, it did. We gave this much money and here are the actual results of that. So we want to make something, so when funders are like, what have you done with money? Grant writers love this kind of stuff, where not that actual data out on it.
But it's not tied in with 211, it's not.
Not at all.
Is that like super?
That is that's what we're working on.
Yeah.
As you've gone through your 4 different types of databases that have promised us a lot of stuff, right, that we really want to be able to give to the community, we're to it. But none of them practice their that stuff from you. So that's why when Jen had this, I was like,
It's been a process.
It's been a process because not one platform is really doing it all. It's doing a little bit of this, a little bit of this. We wanted to make the community operating system.
I mean, that just would be so good because people are just on their phones.
Yeah,
Well, and it helps with the transparency pieces to it, because like, there's a lot of people who do donations, like especially with the giving circle. There's a lot of people who do donations, but one, you don't know how much money was donated, because a lot of times it goes to GoFundMe's or cash apps. You don't know if the money is actually going where it's supposed to be going. And so if you utilize something here that's transparent, that the community can utilize, we can say, look, these are true giving places, and you can see what's happening in those flags. And I think that's very important, because a lot of people stop donating because the transparency is really bad. Yeah.
government, yeah. I also think like there's a whole generation of young people that are coming up that have these desires that want to become involved in the community. And that maybe we're missing out on them because we don't have something like easy to say, I've got time this Saturday for 4 hours and I would love to volunteer to do this.
yeah.
So,
And what we try to do in this is, so when you join, you get to say like, I would like to give time, talent, or treasure. And so when you choose one of those, then when requests come in, you get data notifications when a request comes in that matches that. You know, I want to give my time. Great. When somebody posts, hey, we need volunteers, you get a notification, hey, there's a volunteer group that needs some help. I could choose to like sign up for a time slot. If it is like, I want to give my talent, then when somebody says like, hey, we need a craftsman to fix somebody's house, then I can say, I could do that, or notary. Yeah, exactly. I need a notary, right? Notary service through that. Or you, for example, if you needed a notary, you know it's going to cost $5 every notary. I think we're going to do 20 of them. That's $100. So you can either be the notary or you can donate $100. So we like to do the value in lieu of the talent, but that's how we try to work as well. And we also wanted to have it as the resource directory. So we really try to work really close on this, the resource directory. So once you are in as a board rep, you can update your record, you can get those referral requests. And just, I'm going to say this just real quick. Having a 211 is great, but sometimes they're not operating during, like, it's at 1 a.m. So I've been building in, this is where I'm going to get concrete. I've been building in AI calling tool. So basically all the data is there. So when you call in to the 800 number, I don't even know what. And you can't hear it, I don't know how. I don't know. That's me talking, or that's what I'm afraid of. So essentially what it is, we built an AI response in, so you can call the 800 number and say, I'm in Rockville, and I need help with housing. And it says, I found 3 programs that might help you with that. I was gonna play the audio for you, but essentially what it does is once you call into it, and it responds in Spanish too. So if you say in Espanol, por favor, then it will switch over to Spanish and start speaking and giving you that information there as well. So what we wanted to do is just have it so that it's like free up a little bit of the navigator time. And help, so that's some of the things I've been building into it. Like I know it's super quick, but I didn't want to take every minute of time, but I'm happy to show any more.
And also the others provided. If you're volunteering your time, you can print that off. You can turn that into one, let's see, all of our art around, so that requirement that is the state. If you're working, that's what you hours volunteer. So, you know, it really is user friendly for.
And I'd love to build more things in, because as people are like, this could really be used, let's talk about it too, but it's basically it's our program. I mean, so we can build Power BI too. Then I could theoretically say, I haven't tried it, it's not, put it in there, lots of people, oh, that'll work. You know, that's where we want to go. You might, let's send it.
Yeah.
No, so I'm sure so. Yeah, that's up tomorrow. Let's still send you. I usually, what else do I have to do in my life? I'm retired. Sorry. Oh.
Christmas break was long. We got really excited during that. So both of us were building apps at the same time.
Yeah, I'm thinking all that. Starting conversation about this stuff. No, so.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we're also tying this into the 211 piece of it. So everybody asks about how that information gets there. So what I did is we created a survey so that you can fill in your information. So if you go to the Chaves County Health Council website, chavezcountyhc.org, right here at the first page, you see Chaves County 211. There's where the resource guide is. But down here is become a 211 resource. So if you just click that, it'll automatically take you to crap. That took me to the wrong place. Sorry, we just came up today with where we were going to change this to. Let me see where my email goes.
I think we have to find something to send them directly out, so everybody knows that.
Budget crap.
That's what they.
Yeah, just use you are. Carrie.
No, so we're still linked back into Find Help. All right, so I will reset all of this and it'll be there. But basically it is a Survey Monkey and I can get to it from here. So no, it's not, it's a spreadsheet. It is a Survey Monkey. Okay. So here is, like I said, I'll reset this link.
Sorry, you guys, I got it.
And I'll go fast because we're almost out of time. I have it broken down. So agency name. So if you are like the Department of Health, your agency name is the state of New Mexico. And then your department is Department of Health. So agency website would be State of New Mexico's website. We did an IRS status because we need to know if you're a government agency, nonprofit, for-profit, faith-based. And then the federal employee identification number, it's every organization has it. This is how we know that one, you're a legit business. Because there are some that are operating as like nonprofits that don't have a nonprofit status or may not be under a fiscal agent. And so if we're going to put your information in here as somebody who's vulnerable, who needs to contact you, we need to make sure that you are a legit business. And then now we go to the agencies. So this would be like Department of Health. Oh. Okay, we're going back to design mode. All right, so then it can go to your program name. So like Casa Kids has Family Resource Center. So that would be your program name, the website that would go directly to that program. If you don't have one that goes directly to the program, then you would go into your main one. Again, phone numbers, if you have after hours services. So the big thing for us is the program service description. I don't want your elevator pitches, your websites. Don't copy and paste the stuff you have on your website. This is where we need the true details, the information, because while the client is telling us their story on their life, and it's a huge, long story is the way it works. We're listening for keywords to start looking for things. So if they're needing housing assistance, we're typing in housing. Wait, they don't need that kind of housing. They may need a hotel voucher. So we're literally typing in keywords to pull up specific items because we need those key things. And when you put your elevator pitches in there, your website descriptions, we don't see those key words. So we don't know if they can actually help them or not. And we need to make sure that if we're going to refer them, that is going to fill that need, because what happens right now is I think Hagerman Ford can help them based off what I'm reading on their website. I sent them to Hagerman Ford, and Hagerman Ford says, oh no, I'm just another resource. Let me go through my list. Oh wait, let me send you over here. Well, I've already tried that one, so that was a connection. So now they're bounced again, and they're bouncing a lot. And then they're frustrated, and then nothing gets solved. And then they call back at 211 at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm getting screamed and yelled at. But we have to make sure that we can fill those needs if it's available. And part of it is we don't know if it's available or not because we don't fully know what the programs truly cover or don't cover. And so there's also a place in here for which areas you serve, fee structures, if it's free, if there's an application process. Tell us what the application process is. Linkages, housing. You have to have an SMI. You have to have severe mental illness. I had to go and look and see what qualified as severe mental illness. So that way I knew that worked. They have to be homeless and their income has to be below this amount. I didn't have that information. I had a case manager call me who had a schizophrenic who needed housing. I said, call Linkages. They said, Linkages said, call you. Well, I don't know why. So I had to go find out what was the disqualifier in there so that we couldn't make that connection. And then turns out I don't have any other resources for severe mental. So now we have somebody who's unhoused still, who doesn't have the resources they need. There might be a service out there, but I don't know because I can't connect the lines. And we need it to be in the language so that way if they're looking, we can hide certain things so that the general public doesn't see it. So those of us who are navigating and we're looking at stuff, we can see that because that's what we need to see. The general public, they may see your elevator pitch. And they may not have all the same stuff. We need specific. I was going somewhere with that. Oh, if you have an application intake process, we need to know. We can start that application process, or if they have to meet these qualifiers, let us know, because then we will go through those qualifiers and see, hey, yes, this is a good fit. Let's send it on and see if we can make that connection. If it doesn't fit, we need to look somewhere else. And then again, we are working within different populations. So if you specifically only help seniors, we need to know that if senior for you is 55, we're counting seniors at 65 because it's just wrong to count a senior at 55, by the way. I'm just saying. I'll tell you next year how old I am, but I'm just saying it's wrong. And then what languages you offer. So right now Rebecca's doing the 211 line. She is bilingual. She speaks Spanish. If I'm on the 211 line, I don't. So I have to call somebody like Sonia. And then I'm got everybody on speakerphone and we're translating back and forth. Dan Zapp was going to help with that one, especially at those late night calls. Um, but we also have a few other languages in this town. And if you have somebody who can speak one of the other languages, it's good to know because then also we may need to know if we need to fill that need. I know for a while we had a large Taiwanese population. I don't know if we still do since I'm not with the school district. And then the main categories, when you get to this area, if you select housing, it'll take you and you just start filling in information for housing. It bypasses all the other information. So it's very specific and it takes you to specific places on it. And then it won't ask you 50,000 questions because this is like over 500 questions in this whole thing, but you don't see that because it skips all of it. And that's just kind of the basics of it. And we'll use this information because we can export this out into Dan's app. We can export this out into Find Help because the state is still moving forward with Find Help. And we'll probably utilize both for a while, but it's not going to be our primary. Just because state agencies, that's where they're going with it and we'll need to coordinate somehow. Yeah, we're not going there. Any questions? All right. With that, we will figure out what
I
am
have
I.
a question. Is Rebecca helping you get that out while she's making the calls to the organization?
So I just had a meeting with Rebecca this week or last week on the list, and I told her that now we got to start vetting and making sure everything is accurate because I need to get the resource guide going and make sure those numbers are correct.
Okay.
Okay. Next month, we're gonna do youth awareness. So I have Rick from the Boys and Girls Club is gonna do a trauma with kids thing and the race. Joanne's sister, Loretta is gonna do something with her program. We are out of time. So I will do we'll do the drawing real fast. Are you okay? You can share.
Okay. Sure, I got it ready on me.
Right. I got your gift certificate. So that makes it even better. Stop share. Okay, so Together with Veterans team meeting is April 18th. Behavioral Health and Wellness Committee is March.
It is not April 8th.
That's so wrong.
We are not gonna have a meeting in April because that's the meeting that was all trying to. So.
Okay, I'll update that. Okay. So March 25th is behavioral health. Our next membership meeting is April 8th. Right now, I anticipate us being here. Here's our 211 report. Again, housing and utilities and transportation are our top 3 categories, no matter how we look at it. And our top referred agencies is the faith-based organizations because we don't have any of the organizations that are covering anything anywhere else. And that especially includes housing or rental assistance. And of course, the demographics. And the warming center, for the month of February housed 952 beds. And since the beginning, when they opened January 23rd through February 28th, 1,326 beds. So there was a need for that for this winter. Any questions?
I bought it. I stepped out. So long as it's still in operation, it's.
Yeah,
That will be the funding or just.
It was never funded.
yeah,
Then the rent, not maybe not.
right.
So.
That'd be a discussion to have, sure, if you like to, like, look at explore. What that would look like with this trade with that team, with, like, I mean, it would take a lot, so, wow.
So,
Went off conversation, but it was just.
well, there is discussion on a cooling center, but that's different. So that would be daytime, not nighttime. And so it changes the logistics on possibly where, because the timing is different. It's kind of hard to let somebody out in a residential area at 8 o'clock at night with no bus services back into town. So yeah, there's a whole lot of conversations on that one.
Conservative are great though. Been able to help a lot.
Any other questions? All right, if you guys want to stay, if anybody, you guys can go. If anybody online has an announcement that you want to share that you need to get out, go ahead and get it out.
For the golf tournament, we are looking for volunteers. So you can email me if you're interested in being a volunteer.
Anybody else? Anybody in the room have anything you have to share?
I love flyers. You're taking bring them, grab flyers, I've got like 50 of them going right now, so I brought all them all over there.
All right, with that, thank you guys. I'll send out an email. I'll include all of the flyers. So which means if you have something that you need sent out and you haven't sent me the information, send it to me by the end of the day tomorrow, and I'll include you on my email Friday morning. Y'all have a great afternoon.
Thank you.